Hello! In this video we will talk about trials the sole with a stamp of the third type with an area of 600 square centimeter in a well bottom with a diameter of 325 mm in order to determine the sole deformation modulus according to the American standard ASTM D 1195 BS 1377 1990. Although technical standards have not yet been abandoned, in practice the developer is searching for ways to save on trials or to replace them with simpler but less informative ones. Photo number 1. Stamp trials gives an idea of the labor costs. We would like to bring to your attention a lightweight, easy-to-maintain mobile compact device for stamp trials of soil for work in the well with a diameter of 325 mm. The device works on the principle of an expanding mechanism, complemented by anchor properties of the structure. Unfortunately, demonstration of work in the well will show little to the observer, except the pressure meter readings at the pumping station. Therefore, this stand was built repeating the elements of the well on the surface. A wellhead represented by a steel ring with an inner diameter of 325 mm. Side walls represented by wooden inserts. A face represented by two parallel segments of the steel profile. As the face, we will use a wooden board 20 mm thick, which might be broken during the demonstration by the pressure of the stamp.
Которая в ходе демонстрации испытаний должна быть проломлена давлением штампа.
Actually, the test of the first valid model in the well already took place and was captured on photo. In the second photo, there is an initial appearance of the device before starting trials. In the third photo, the device is installed on the bottom of the well 1 meter deep. In the fourth photo, a pressure gauge shows pressure about 3 tons. In the fifth and sixth photos, the device is removed from the well after trials. The load deformed the device model but not affected its performance. In our case, we can observe the device operation clearly. The device weighs 60 kilograms and consists of a stamp of 600 square centimeters, a pipe screwed onto it with a hydraulic cylinder placed in it, and a movable stand with pushing levers on the hinges. The levers are also hinged with thrust segments which actually catch on the soil walls of the well. In transport position and during immersion of the device into the well at flexible connection, that is on a cable or chain, manually or using a winch, thrust segments are folded into a cylindrical form and upon reaching the bottom under its own weight are laid out, leaning against the walls of the well, after which the hydraulic cylinder is set to work and by way of spacer arms pushes pressing the thrust segments to the walls of the well using an expanding mechanism.
Прижимающий упорные сегменты к стенкам скважины и включающий распорную систему. Устройство
The
допускает
device
возможность
allows the
центрирования
possibility
штампа.
of centering the stamp
Используем
using
в качестве
thrust
центратора
segments as centralizers,
опорные
activated
сегменты,
immediately before installation on the
приведенные
face.
в действие непосредственно перед установкой на забой.
Now we will break the wooden plank in trials of the device to destruction.
И испытывать устройство на прочность. Для этого
To do this, we lay the wooden plank on the
вкладываем
face.
деревянную дощечку на забой. Устанавливаем
Then
на
we
нее
install
штамп.
stamp on it.
Включаем
Pressing the
растворную
thrust
систему.
segments to the walls of the well, put in action an expanding mechanism.
Нагнетаем
Then we
давление
pump on pressure and
и
observe.
наблюдаем. Мы
We
слышим
hear
треск
the plank
дощечки.
cracking.
Смотрим на дощечку. Для этого
Let's look at the
сбрасываем давление.
plank.
Приподнимаем
To do this,
устройство.
we depressurize and lift the device.
Дощечка разломана.
The plank is broken. We continue to build up pressure.
мы видим,
The pressure gauge at the pumping station shows a pressure of
показал давление
150 kilograms
150
per
килограмм
square
на квадратный
centimeter.
сантиметр. При площади сечения штока
As the cross-sectional area of the hydraulic cylinder rod is 12 square centimeters, this value corresponds to the load of 1,800
или
kilograms,
3 килограммам на каждый квадратный сантиметр
or
испытуемого
3
грунта
kilograms on
штоком.
each square centimeter of trial soil under the stamp having an area of 600 square
Модуля
centimeters.
деформации грунта. При
That
этом
is sufficient for determining the
никакого
magnitude of the soil deformation
для
modulus.
создания
At the same time, there is no stopper to create and maintain
кроме
pressure
боковых
on the
стенок
stamp,
скважины,
except for the walls of the well, and the expanded mechanism within the stand uses only half of its structural strength.
использует только половину своих ресурсов прочности. То есть из
That is,
8
of 8 levers, only 4 are involved.
участвует только 4.
The hydraulic cylinder is rated for 10 tons, but building up pressure further is less informative
Дальнейшее нагнетание малоинформативно,
and
и
only
только
leads to
приводит к
probability of a
поверхности
fracture of the expansion mechanism elements.
системы. Поскольку на
Since at our
нашем
stand the
стенде
distribution of
распределение
mutually antithetic
взаимно
directions of
противоположных
efforts is limited to one two-dimensional plane,
ограничено
as opposed to a real well where efforts are evenly distributed in 4 directions in the volumetric enclosed space of the well and therefore are mutually balanced.
силе равномерно распределено в 4 направлениях в объемном замкнутом пространстве скважины. По
At the
окончании
end of the experiment, the pressure is discharged, thrust segments are folding, and the device is lifted to the surface.
и устройство поднимается на поверхность.
The device excludes distortions and horizontal movements of the stamp and trials. The device will allow the replacement of the stamp with a sampler for sampling soil from the bottom of the well or on a drilling tool using hydraulics deepen the well. When developing the device, such issues as fixing the walls of the well were not considered, reference system was not considered, registration of vertical movements of the stamp was not considered, stripping the face was not considered. These issues have their own solutions in existing similar devices and only need in refinement.